Hello students, I want to practice something in your journal with you, so follow me. We're going to make very ghostly light letters in block capitals that says H-I. So just quickly getting that down, H-I. And then I want you to shell around to make bubble letters. And I will pause this if I see it's taking a little bit. And when you're done with the bubble letters, and if you have time, you can erase the inside skeletons for those letters. Now, what I want to practice with you today is sort of a thickening that's called drop shadow. So on the bottom and right-hand side of our letters, you're going to be thickening your line to make it look like a light is hitting your letters from the upper left. And to make that happen, you seek the right-hand side of all your bubble lines and the underneath. This is something we can always practice in your journal before you do it to your real art if you want to do drop shadow. It looks really cool, and it's a style that's been around for a long time. If you want to make it even more dramatic, you can go back and thicken under all of the shapes and to the right-hand side of all of your shapes. Now I'm doing something called a shell, where I'm just adding a layer to the outside of my entire word. It kind of makes my entire word look like it's been coated or it belongs together as one word. Once you do a shell around your letters, there's so many choices for what you can do, and I'll put some of those choices up. One good thing to practice is some clouds. If you kind of bounce your pencil around without going too small, you can do some really cool cloud bumps.
I thought you made poles.
And then perhaps going from your cloud to the edge of your paper, you would have some exploding lines. This kind of makes it look like it's all coming towards you. On our journal practice, these just stick out like sticks, but with the edge of a paper showing, it could look really cool. So I want you to give a go at just freestyling some bubble letters now that you've done it on your page. Notice these are more wobbly. They're not as even. But just for practice sake, I'd love you to write H-I again and give it a shell coating, and then see what it's like to continue and do concentric shells around the outside, enhancing the contours every time you go around. This is another option for you today to enhance your name art. Practicing in your journal is really cool. If you're doing a shine, before you add color today, you're going to want to use a white crayon inside of those shines. Notice for the shine, I chose the upper left of each letter, and I made that same sort of curved rectangle in every shape. Here I am preparing my paper for color by erasing all of the graphite lines that I don't need anymore, so that all that remains is some marker. Now I want to show you how we're coloring our letters. The idea is that a watercolor marker contains as much beautiful pigment as actual watercolors do. And even though our paper is a little bit bumpy, coloring in your letter and then adding a little bit of water makes this look really bright and beautiful, kind of like spray pigment or spray paint. On that A, I did something called gradient, where I put a lighter color up top and a darker color up bottom. For gradient, I'd love for you to stick with only two colors, and I'd like those colors to be next to each other on the color wheel. So here's another example of an almost dry marker that I'm actually going to mark as almost dry and probably to be discarded soon. And I'm adding some water, and with the whiteness of the paper, this letter actually looks like it's glowing or spray painted. So when you're done, the water will also do some things on its own, and that's also the case with spray paint. This is all contained inside of crayon, so it looked really cool. Thanks.